All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your Pitch Open House event tonight. We have a great lineup for you, I'm sure, as we always do. And if it's your first time to Pitch Open House, welcome. We have, we're just welcome. Whoever invited you, go hug them because we're going to show you something tonight that literally is going to change the rest of your life if you decide to go on the ride with us. I know I'm excited about it, and I know a lot of people that you're going to see tonight are really excited about it as well. But it's my pleasure, as usual, to introduce to you the man who brought all this together and really just made all this happen for us, Mr. Steve Jameson. How are you, sir?
I am great, and thank you. And if you are brand new and you have not ever seen a demonstration before, and or to understand why we seem rather excited to be here, the good news is we kind of show you right up front what makes this such a, let's call it a digital transformation. What I like to say to people, if you don't like what I show you in the very beginning, you're probably not going to be impressed with anything I show you after this. So the first thing I want to do, which is really the cornerstone of why we're here, is if you're on your phone, if you're on your iPad, you're on your desktop, you're on your computer, I want you to take your mouse, your finger, your friend's finger, your mother's finger, and I want you to touch the screen. I actually want you to realize that this screen is completely interactive and that you can go absolutely anywhere you want on that screen while I'm talking. We can take virtually any website in the world and make it completely interactive, not just for you, but for up to 600 people at the same time, but yet still maintain your privacy. So if the presenter is lucky enough to get you to move forward, whether to sign up for a newsletter, enroll in a program, sign a contract, you are the only one will see the information that you're putting in. But what's even more important, if you want to be on the other side as the presenter, is realize at any time I want, I can take control of the screen, which I just did now. So I could take you on the tour of the website where I want to go and only make it interactive at the time that it actually makes sense in the presentation. Because the last thing you want is a couple of hundred people getting ahead of you in the presentation and go, hey, I'm over here, I'm over here. So we are the only interactive platform that literally can toggle back and forth between I'm in control, my guests are in control, and it could be in complete privacy. So number one, as I said, I hope you're impressed with live and interactive. And if you're not, here's number two. What happens to the people who can't make it here live? They're not the fallen stepchild, right? So what we did is we said, for those that can't make it live, we'll make it recorded and interactive. In fact, the exact same experience as the host, not just put a link and tell you to go to a website, but I can actually do a video live or with an AI avatar of myself, depending on how many places I want to be in at the same time, and actually turn the pages of the website and tell you and guide you to take that call to action. So we are live and interactive. We are recorded and interactive. Third, what if the people you're making a presentation to don't speak your language? We can actually be live and interactive in up to 42 languages at the same time, not live with just a transcription. Other people can do that, but live with a transcription and a real-time voice. I say to you that there's 600 seats, and you go, well, how do I know 600 people? Well, here's the magic. What if you can actually give an invite link to your sales team, your affiliates, your independent reps that work with you? And those invite links will track all the guests that they bring to your meeting. Because maybe that's all they're qualified to do yet, is just be so excited to say, if you can get in front of a Stephen Gregg, if you can get in front of a Lisa Murphy, you'll be as excited as I am. Well, those invite links will track all the guests that they bring, but also track it to their replicated or affiliate websites through your company system with no integration, no setup, no downloads required. So let me just kind of summarize, because I know I'm going fast for you guys. We are live and interactive. We are recorded and interactive. We are live or recorded in between 42 and 155 different languages, depending on whether you want someone to see it in real time or see it after the fact. We have these smart links that can track their guests and their sales or enrollments. And I alluded to a second ago, we can also do this with an AI avatar. But I want to show you one more thing before I kind of show you the power in an AI avatar. And what's so remarkable about this is that it goes beyond a webinar platform. That's right. What if your guests don't want to do webinars? What if you don't want to do webinars? Think of it this way. There's 550 million people that get on a live webinar every day. 100 millions more in recording. So there's actually a big enough audience just for us to service them. But there's 185 billion texts sent every single day. And you know what? Not one of them today, until now, are also interactive. There are 400 billion emails sent every day, but 100 billion of them are actually open and read because they're sent by somebody you know. None of them are interactive. There are 1.5 billion people who watch a live social media streaming event every day. None of those experiences are interactive. We are not simply an alternative to Zoom. We are a touch point platform that no matter how you choose to reach out to your people, we can make that an interactive experience. And so what I was saying to you about an AI avatar twin, we're not a technology company that believes that technology should replace you. We believe that technology should drive people in front of you because you are the best thing about you. Like tonight, you can tell I'm authentically speaking with passion because I believe in this product and the impact it'll have on virtually any business in the marketplace. This can affect network marketing companies, affiliate marketing companies, insurance companies, people who sign contracts, people who are teachers and coaches around the world, schools and universities. Who gets on a webinar today? Who sends a text? Who sends an email and wants absolutely nothing to happen? The fortune is not in the follow-up anymore. The fortune is here right now. So imagine using an AI avatar to drive people to your meetings. Imagine using an AI avatar to follow up with your meetings. Why is that important? Because let's say, for instance, you have a library of quick things that'll happen before the meeting, or quick things that'll happen after. For instance, what if you had an AI avatar that replaces asking people to watch a 45-minute replay of a webinar where they didn't make a decision the first time? I just want you to know my background. I have been the largest ISV partner to Zoom in the world for almost 4.5 years, a fancy way of saying I brought them more customers than virtually anyone else but themselves. Before that, I was the CEO of 3 different international sales and marketing companies that did $4 billion in sales. So I know a little something about conversion and driving people to websites, online or offline. I know something a little bit of webinars, but the one thing I've learned through all of those things is people are more likely to take action in the moment that you ask them than the alternative of sending a text in the chat with a hope and a prayer and then start the 5-day race where they'll never take any action at all. So I want to give you a quick example, right, of how powerful our AI avatar platform is. Now, the good news is if you use your own favorite AI avatars, just so you know, you can use that with our system as well. But when you take a look at ours, you may actually think, this might be interesting. So every week, I bring on a special guest, not to pretend that this guest is endorsing our product or our program. We're not doing that. I do it to not to show off how great our technology is. I do this to show you how great you could be with our technology. And so please enjoy this and watch it in mine.
Hello, I am Tony Robbins, and I am very glad I have been asked to share a few thoughts with you as I believe this group here at Pitch is embarking on a unique journey at a very interesting moment in time. I know most of you think of me simply as a motivational speaker or the guy who made sure Jack Black saw only the beauty in people in the movie Shallow Hal. I am still working hard on trying to learn how to do that for real. I have been blessed to have been in front of millions of people live and in person, but my impact took on a life of its own through technology. It took me 38 years to get in front of 4 million people. It took me 2 hours to get in front of 2 million people in over 100 countries on one live stream. I understand the impact of transformation, but just as importantly, I understand the impact of transformational technology. The kind of technology they have developed here at Pitch. But all of you here are not simply caught up in an exciting company at an interesting moment in time. You are creating it, which is why I want to share with you that if you want to change your life, you will learn to change your story. To be precise, a story is a set of beliefs you have about your life and yourself, your family, your job, your future. It's not just a single belief, but an entire belief system about the core of who you are as an individual. It defines what you're capable of doing, but also, and please listen carefully, what we can't do. Pitch has a compelling story. How are you telling it? What role do you have in it? What role do you have in this new story? Is Pitch simply an alternative to Zoom? Or are you on the ground floor of a new and exciting company that will help people reach their highest potential? Are you an evangelist in the mission, empowering people's emotions to get on board? Or are you waiting for the right time to experience this new story? How this story of Pitch reframes your life and affects your daily actions is entirely up to you. Yes, you can be a part of the story of Pitch, or Pitch can be a part of your story. Truth be told, I can't change people's lives, but I can help them and teach them how they can be in charge of changing it themselves. I always tell people Jim Rohn was the person who changed my life, not because he was kind and generous, which he was, but he had a vehicle for me to ride in that change. I was sleeping in my car when I met him for the first time and asked him if I could attend his training. He said, yes, of course. He would be glad to have me, and that it would cost $1,200. That was $1,200 to a homeless person in 1977. I asked him if I could attend for free, and once I learned the skills to change my life, I would pay him back. He told me that if your story is that you can't afford to go into the training, you will leave my training with the same story. In my naivete, I went to 5 banks to ask for a loan to go to those classes. And of course, they all turned me down. But one bank officer asked me why I wanted to attend a class when I couldn't afford an apartment or a decent meal. I told her an apartment will last me month to month. A meal will last me only to the next one, but my life will last forever. I am here for the long run. She lent me the money personally, and my life and my story was changed forever. While the teachings were everything I expected and more, knowledge can never replace experience. If Pitch is your experience that can help write your story and those of others, then you are in the right place. And may I suggest, as I'm known to say, you have a date with destiny. Might as well make it a good one.
All right. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. And there's some other people who believe here tonight that they're in the right place.
Wow.
And that their date in destiny is equally as interesting. And they're a part of the people that are the very story of Pitch. And so the first person I'm saying who really probably wrote the first chapter for us is somebody I want you to hear from who has brought more people to our business than maybe anyone else you're going to hear from tonight. And I know he'll even bring more people in the future, and that's Mr. Phil Franklin.
Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me on. Guys, I'm telling you, if you're not using those avatars, you're missing out, because I've just been literally creating an avatar, finding a friend and creating an avatar for them and telling them, hey, it's a gift. Here, use it. And they go, wait a minute, that's me. How did I get on there? I didn't do that recording. I said, yeah, I know. Well, that's my voice. I know. Well, that's my company. Yeah. Like I said, it's a gift. Use it. If you want to find out how this was made, get a hold of me. Let's get my friend Steve on the phone. And guys, it's just use talk demo. Focus on your first 5. That's it. Go for 5. Don't worry about going to platinum, everything else. Go for 5 and then teach 5. Go for 5 and next month go for another 5. If you can go faster, but it doesn't have to be. And I'm telling you, with this opportunity, guys, we've got a tiger by the tail. And my personal opinion, we're sitting in the garage with the next Apple. So I love this company. I love Steve. I love his integrity. Same thing with Dave. The whole reason I'm here is because I got a call from Dave about this, and he wouldn't tell me what it was all about. I said, well, what is it, Dave? He goes, I'm not going to tell you. I said, what do you mean you're not going to tell me? He goes, I'm not going to tell you. I said, well, what is it? He goes, Tell you what, Mr. Franklin, I'm going to set you up with my strategic partner. If you like what you see, then we'll go forward. I said, well, let's make this happen. I know what Dave's done in the past. I've known him for 20, 25 years. So I knew it was something going to be big. And he put me on with Steve. They showed me the technology. And my first words were I was doing things that were costing $1,000, $5,000, right? So I looked at this, went, I'm in. How much is it? $5,000? $1,000? They both laughed at me. I said, what? He goes, top level's $200, Mr. Franklin. I said, what? Okay, I'm all in. Who's my upline? Who's my support? Let's get this thing rolling. They said, as soon as we open the company, you'll have your link. I said, I can't wait. Let's do it. The day they opened, I paid my $200. And here's the catch, guys. I got my 9 people that day. I'm not going to make any kind of income claims, but I can tell you, I haven't put another dime out of pocket since, and my check goes up every day. So put 2 and 2 together. Thanks for coming on board tonight. If you're not already signed up, you need to be. And listen to the rest of the speakers. They're amazing. And like I said, I can't say enough about Steve and Dave. And everybody else that's coming on here. You're more like family than just, I mean, we're at the beginning, guys. I think there's still less than 2,000 people in here. Imagine what we can do. All right. That's enough of me. So back to you, Steve.
All righty. Thank you, Phil. And again, I think we're one of the few companies that want to be judged, not how much money you simply make with us, but how much money we make for you with your primary business. If you're selling Herbalife, if you're selling Nu Skin, if you're in insurance, if you're in real estate, if you're with Amazon or eBay, what we're most proud about is that you have the ability now in real time to convert your customers, enroll those customers in your program. And when people are doing that in your program, guess what? They're going to notice our program for doing that. Sometimes people look at technology at how much it costs. Some people look at technology as how much money it earns you. Just for reference point, realize Salesforce.com did $45 billion in sales last year. No free program, not the cheapest guy in town. They just have 95% market share of people who believe that technology makes the most amount of money for them. You look at a company like HubSpot, which is a great company, 80% of their customers don't pay them a dime, and 20% create almost $2 billion in sales for them. 2 billion, 45 billion. Where do you fit in terms of the mindset about how you look at technology? I want to bring on another guest. I don't see him in the participant list, and I don't know him personally that well, so I don't know if he's here. But if not, we'll move quickly. But is Robert Anderson from Key Largo, Florida here tonight? If you are, unmute yourself. If not, you just lost your 15 minutes of fame. Okay? Like I said, I didn't see him, so I set this up correctly, and I wasn't sure. So let me quickly move to somebody who I know is here. In fact, he was here yesterday instead of today. So let me introduce Mr. Rick Amico.
Yeah, I showed up a little bit early for this one. I just got so excited I couldn't wait. Couldn't help myself. So I always start off every week. I'm just grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be in the room with you guys. I'm grateful for the minds that had the audacity to change the status quo and execute this thing. And I'm going to do something a little bit differently than I normally do. I want to tell you a story about a little old lady that I was fortunate enough to recruit this week. Her name is Maggie. Maggie, by my estimation, is well into her 80s. And I want you to envision the first time I see her on a screen, dressed in a robe, just what you'd think a little old lady would be, right? And I spent about an hour on the phone with her, and she just got really into this. She's been through a ton this year, a lot of hardships, a lot of trials, and she wanted something to do. So she said, okay, we're going to do it. But she kept telling me, I'm scared. I'm really old. I don't know technology. How do I, what if, how do I? I said, look, the same thing that we tell you guys week after week after week after week. At the end of the day, all you do is talk about it. You don't have to be an expert. You don't have to know technology inside and out. Just talk about it. Use Talk Demo. Well, guess what? She signed up, I think it's 3 days ago. She's got her first person already. Second one's joining, should be today. And by the end of the week, she should have her software for free. Okay? She's 80 some odd years old, and she's killing it. And Steve will tell you, He had an appointment yesterday, a demo with one of her people. This guy runs a networking group, and he's so over the moon. He's like, I'm going to have 3 people by the end of the week. So if an 81-year-old woman can have a second or third generation inside of the first week, there's nobody on this call that can't do it. All you do, believe in yourself, believe in the process, use Talk Demo, get 4 people a week in front of Steve, and your life could change. So she couldn't be on. I asked her to be on. She said, oh, honey, I'm in bed by 7:15. So I may have to record her for the future, but hey, if she can do it, we all can do it. So she is my unlikely hero this week. And that's all I got for you today.
No, thank you. I love the story. 81 and just getting started. Yeah,
that's
her
exactly
future's
right.
In front of her. That's my kind of girl, right? Quickly to move to our next speaker. There's a very elite club of people that work with other people that can say they're not in the $1 million club, they're in the $1 billion club, having created more than $1 billion in sales through the building emotional relationships with other people, with products and companies they're passionate about. And so listen very carefully, because like I remember when I did that video, I want to be like Mike. I always like to say, I want to be like Charles. I want to be able to do it over and over again and have that impact that he's had on so many people. And so Charles, please tell people your story. Oh, you're on mute, Charles.
How about that? You gotta use the technology, right? Actually, thank you very much, Steve. That was very kind of you, and I'm humbled by those words. And Rick, thank you for introducing me to this amazing company. You know, I'm in a transition point. We've built an affiliate company, about 14, going on 1,500 people over the last 6 months. And I was introduced to this technology, and it is a game changer. So I'm looking at it from a different perspective, perhaps than some, opposed from the income of bringing people into it. Is to your point, Steve, it's how it's helping my company create more income and also create privacy and the benefits to all of our buyers through the interactive technology. I'm just now starting to get into the talking head portion, and I'm blown away. I'm having so much fun with it. This week is going to be my first attempt to go out. I've already got the free, so I've already introduced enough people to pay for my own subscription, which was very easy to do just by sharing what we do. The next phase is to really step it up, and I'm the affiliate part for our marketing is going to be a game changer, using the talking head video, partnering with Rick, partnering with you, and really changing the world, not only through the business that I have, but bringing other people in to help them change their business. So grateful for the opportunity, grateful for the technology. It is a game changer for any business owner, any small business owner, anybody who's used to using interactive technology. So thank you for the opportunity.
No, thank you, Charles. And our next speaker may answer the question for you. If I'm successful in my primary business, can you really have an alternative income stream that actually rivals the main business that we do? And somebody who is not just doing it here, but has done that through his whole life, creating multiple streams of income, and has had just a huge impact on this company, is Mr. Ray Jatan.
Hi, everybody. You know, Pitch is my brand. That's where I'm hanging my hat. This is where I spend most of my time. And I love helping people. I love doing demos, use Talk and Demo. And thank you, Steve, for that message from Tony Robbins. Change your story, change your life. I tell myself my own story every morning to get me started. And I tell stories throughout the day. And that's how we move this thing forward. You know, and I'm still amazed at every different type of person that I meet, whether it's on an online platform or somebody's bringing them to a demo that I'm helping with, just the different verticals that this is useful for. And, you know, I'm glad that you, what you said just a little bit ago about that we're a touch point platform. You know, we used to be a webinar platform, and then we became a messaging platform, but we're really a touch point platform. And that means it's for everybody, no matter what industry you're in. So I'm having a lot of fun, you guys, and I can't wait to see everybody else at the top.
Thank you, Ray. And speaking about Tony Robbins, in one of my previous positions before this, I had the opportunity to run and actually save Success Magazine from going into chapter 11 at the time. And I actually got to meet and work with Tony, who was instrumental in helping us. And I remember when I was invited to a very private premiere of his movie called My Guru. And there's maybe only 200 or 300 people, and we were one of the first people to see that movie. And after the movie, he had a question and answer period. And I know that even though people are fans of Tony, they always have that skepticism. Is he really authentic? Is he really that passionate? Is he really all about the service? And when you haven't been through one of his trainings, when you look on the outside, you go, oh, that motivational speaker guy, right? And I remember there was a question at the end of that movie, and they said to him, what was the turning point in your life? And he started to tell the story about how this high school teacher was the first person ever to believe in him, that he had value, that he had something to contribute. And when he was living in a broken home, and he said that person saw who he was, not how he was living. And that person convinced him. He said, Tony, you have this gift of being able to talk. And he was 15 years old. And he put him on the debate team in school. And Tony won the state championship. And that convinced him that he had a gift that can go beyond a high school championship. And he said, and when he started to tell the story, and the reason I'm sharing it is he cried, not fake tears on a stage, fake tears of that same moment, the first time that someone believed in him. So just never sell yourself short on the impact that a person can have on your life. It's not a moment. It's a lifetime. And that's the moment that he wanted to pay forward. And that's how you get in front of 4 million people. That's how you get in front of 2 million people, because you feel you need to pay that forward. And one of those people that I also know believes in paying it forward, because the people that he's introduced me to can't do enough for him. And he's been one of the most successful, video producers in the industry, and has found here a place to share his creativity with us. And that's Mr. Peter Simmons. You're on mute, Peter.
There you go. Hi, thank you, Steve. That's a very nice introduction. I'm just reading an autobiography of Peter Falk, who played Columbo, who I hired to do a show for me, and then the client canceled it. So I've got to somehow make it up to him. But so I did own a video business. It went really well. Then I hit upon some very hard times when the big recession hit. And I got out of the video business. Now I'm doing video as an art form and trying to produce a feature film. And I got into direct sales, and that went pretty well as well. But what I found was all the products, then some of them were really good products, but they were hard to sell and hard to promote and hard to talk about. Then I found Pitch. Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Gary's on the call. Thanks for Steve and the development team. All those guys in Ecuador are building this for us. And it's been phenomenal because, first, it's a great product. Second, it's a product that everyone wants. I've never seen this before. They want it for different reasons. They want it because they're a coach. They want it because they want to sell something. They want it. I got a guy today on my team who's building an antique selling show using Pitch. So, and the last two things, nobody else has this. That is truly extraordinary. You know, all those business opportunities everyone tried to get you involved in? Could you ever say nobody else has this? You couldn't say that because other people had this, other people had that. And the last thing, it's global, an untapped market. So my plan is to produce my movie with the money I'm going to make a Pitch. We will see, because you can make a part-time income, full-time income, or as Jim Rohn said, you can make a fortune in this industry. So thanks.
Thank you, Peter. And you make a very good point about we do have an experience that no other company in the world has. Yes, you may hear there's a Zoom with a buy button, right? There's Loom and Vidyard that could do a recording. But I can tell you that every single time I've done a live demo for someone and they say to me, how does it compare to so-and-so? I either get a, oh my God, or an apology that they even considered the experience a comparison. And I think that's true in life, about in all sales and marketing. We all become a victim of false comparisons. And so that's why it's so important through the trainings that we have to teach you what we really have, as opposed to what people think we may have in that sense. And the other thing that you brought up is about our team in Ecuador. I do want to say something that whenever I do a demo for a Fortune 100 company or a Fortune 1000 company, and there have been many, or a very successful direct seller, the first question they always have after I get my, oh my God, the second thing is, can you handle the growth that's going to be coming? Do you know what you're in for? And I always say to them, look, I don't say this to brag. I just say this to know I've lived it. When you've done $4 billion in sales, believe me, we've had those moments of growth. I know how to do that in my career, but I would tell you that without our development team in Ecuador, who are the most passionate young people I've ever met in my life and most professional, the answer would be no. I don't think we could. And so I know they're not on the camera, they're not in the boxes tonight, but over time we will be bringing them on. You will know them because they're a part of your family now, not just mine. The other thing I love to say is the next speaker. What I love about this business is every single day you meet people who you didn't know yesterday, but you feel like they're your friends today. And I can tell that because they would never introduce me to the people they introduced me to if they didn't put their trust in me, because it's about their reputation, not about mine, when they set up those demos for me. And that person is Mike Cabras. Go ahead, Mike. Take yourself off mute.
Yeah, thank you so much, Steve. That really means a lot to me. Pitch. Wow. I mean, where do I begin? I mean, honestly, this platform has actually changed how my business run. One thing in the sales business, right, and the recruiting business, because I'm a recruiter for a real estate company. It's the follow up, right? All this countless follow up, right? Now, what Pitch allowed me to do is actually eliminate that friction. And Ray and I were talking about this thing today. I mean, that friction that eliminates, when we send a text, right? When we send an email, right? We're getting a lot of micro commitments when we send those things. Click here, watch this, do this, book here. I mean, you're more and more that we ask people to do that, the less and less they're gonna do something, right? Because whether you catch them at a bad time or they're doing something, they said, I'll watch it later. Oh, I'll do it later. And they never get back to it, and we feel like we're ghosted. What Pitch actually, eliminated for me was like the act in the moment, right? So now when I send something, everything happens in the moment, right? Like a video tour, right? Or a property that I want to show to somebody, it shows up, right? I'm talking about it, it shows up. And then after they check it out, because it's interactive, because they actually get to walk the house, tour the house and whatnot. Now, the next action is like my calendar shows up. Now they can book, right? So everything happens in the moment. And I think that's what it's doing. And I really love it. That not only is changing the way I follow up now, it's actually eliminating the microsecond commitment that, normally I get when I'm in front of my clients and prospects. So again, Steve, thank you. This is amazing. So I'm using it for, not only I'm using it for webinars and whatnot, but, it's the follow-up, the outreach that is really changing everything for me. And I thank you for that. Thank you, Steve.
No, thank you, Mike. And just a couple more speakers, everyone. And but some of maybe the most important ones I want you to hear from tonight. Because I can tell you, when you've had great success and you've had great failure, and you never have one without the other in life, the key is to know when to be the student and when to be the teacher. And occasionally you meet somebody who's traveled a similar path to you, and you're both the student and the teacher to each other. And that's really the next speaker for me, who frequently will say each other on the phone is like, do we know what we're doing? We got to go figure this thing out, right? Of how to take this to the world. And that person is Mr. Stephen Gray.
Well, I appreciate that. Thanks, Steve. Yeah, we talk all the time, but man, I just was thinking about what I'm going to talk about. I got so many directions I could talk about, but I was just thinking when Ray kind of introduced me to this, I was looking at Pitch as a webinar system, because I lead a ministry, and I was going to try to do something for the ministry to try to raise money for them. So when I found Pitch, I was like, wow, this is a great webinar system. But now that it's been a few weeks now, a few months, and putting this whole infrastructure I put together, this is far more than a webinar system. This is, it's a lot of things to a lot of people. I hear that on this call, and that's why I love this call. Everybody uses it the way they want to use it. But for me, I've been in the direct sales space 36 years. That's all I know, is how to meet someone cold and get them to pay me. That's the only thing I know. I don't know marketing or anything else. That's what I've been doing. But when I found Pitch, it was the missing link, because we all know at the end of a presentation, you have to send them an email or chase them down or follow up. And that was the hardest part. That was the part I hated. So I stopped doing it. I just said, forget it. I ain't following up with nobody anymore. That was my mindset. But with Pitch, it actually gives me the ability to help people join now with me. But more importantly, I look at Pitch as an end-to-end conversion system. Because of the videos, you can actually help a person to convert a lead into a prospect without even talking to them. You can help that person join your calendar and book a meeting with you without even speaking to them, just by sending them an email or text. And then most importantly, you can help that person decide to join with you right there on the spot without leaving the webinar. That's an end-to-end conversion system. That's the missing link that I was missing. So now, I just appreciate what you guys have put together, Steve, because I've been looking for something like this to be able to take around the world for a long time. You guys have no idea. You'll hear my stories down the road, but I've been looking for something that I could get behind, pour all my chips in on black and say, let's go. I'm all in. And I can tell you right now, I'm all in this. So thank you so much, Steve. And thank you, Ray, for stepping up and sharing this opportunity with me.
Thank you, Stephen. Two more speakers to go. The next speaker, I don't recognize. If I know you and I don't recognize the name, I apologize. But the last time I introduced somebody who I didn't know very well, they told me the first time they used the Pitch platform, they did $78,000 in sales. So just feel free to top that story, okay? Mr. Mike Zenardelli from Florida. Mike, unmute yourself and top that story, please, okay?
Yeah. I tell you what, it's been an amazing opportunity to see this. I want to thank Steve and Greg, a very dear friend of mine. We worked together in the past. And, a short story is when he drove from Tampa over here to Fort Lauderdale, and he sat down to talk to me about Pitch. He had a look in his eye that I saw back in 2007 and 2008. And at that time, he was absolutely crushing the business we were in, doing 6 figures a month. And when he walked into my game room here, and I saw him, I said, that look is back, because I hadn't seen that in Stephen in years, and I knew there had to be something special. I've had a background, 27 years in network marketing. We were very fortunate to build 7 companies, and one of the top spots in those companies. The biggest challenge with building a company like that is you get the best presenter to do the presentation. And, when we had a flip, when COVID hit, everybody went to Zoom. And you bring the best presenter. And then, everybody's excited to bring their guests. And then it's herding cats afterwards, because the follow-up is just brutal. And what I love about Pitch is, number one, we can change that. We can change that for a lot of industries. But I've brought this to a lot of businesses where I'm not trying to sell Pitch. I'm trying to share with them what this could do for them in their business. And as a result of it, they have to use Pitch. And I know that Stephen's done a few presentations for me. Steve has for some very large companies. I love to hunt elephants. That's what I like to do. And we got a lot in the quiver that we'll get. It's just a matter of time. But I want to thank Steve for having the brilliance behind this to put this together. Steve and Greg for introducing me to this. And I just think that the sky's the limit. But what I love so much is we can help other people that have struggled in their own business by giving them a tool that allows them to convert more and more sales. So thanks again.
No, thank you, Michael. And we are down, drum roll, to our last speaker, as I like to say, to take us home. And Ray Jatan earlier tonight said, that Pitch is his brand. Well, the next speaker I want to introduce is somebody who helped create that brand. I know, because I'm on camera a lot and I do all the meetings, people think I am the brand, but it's not. It's a collection of people, as many of you know, my partner, Dave. and in many ways, our next speaker, Harry. Before this company ever opened, I was in Detroit at his kitchen table, and he helped create this vision of where we're going in this company. And many people may not realize that, but so let me introduce part of our brand, Mr. Harry Nuhan.
Wow. Thank you very much. Yeah, you had your birthday here. We went out for a birthday drink and made things happen, put it all together. So that was kind of cool. Hey, everybody, my name's Harry Nuhan. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. And wow, some incredible stories today. Thank you guys. What you've been able to do with the Pitch product and the platform. And it's exciting to see. And for the new people on the call, you may say, okay, well, it's exciting, but what do I do next? How can I get it started? And there's 3 places you can get started: standard plan, the premium plan, and the pro plan. And it's $49, $79, or $99 a month. But there's a built-in system, and you heard here a couple times from some of the speakers that you can get it for free. And that got me excited because I've been a international sales trainer, coach, and executive consultant for decades. And I help people do better. And when I saw this, I started sharing it with some of my friends and some of my clients. And my clients said, how did you do that? And can I use that to build my brand and work with my company? I said, absolutely. So the company says, wherever you get started, they all 3 plans have the same features. You just get more of them. And so the higher plan you get, and here's what I learned is if you start at pro, the people that you refer generally start where you start. So it's kind of an advantage to start at the pro level, but start wherever you're comfortable with and work your way up. You can always upgrade or downgrade if that's your situation. But what happens is as soon as you get 3 referrals, and they'll come just by using the products. You heard here today, use, talk, and demo. We use the product. People see it and they want it. And we talk to people about the product, and then we do a demo and let Steve do the demo for you until you've seen enough of them, and then you can do your own. But once you get 3 people, then yours is free every month. When you get 5 or more referrals that renew every month, the company starts sending you residual checks, 10 to 30% a month on their subscriptions every single month. Now, when COVID hit, I probably referred hundreds of people to Zoom just through my clients and through my webinars. And they never sent me a thank you check. And they still charge me every single month. So now I get thank you checks. I get the service for free, and it's exciting. So if you have a brand, this will populate your community with clients and affiliates quicker, faster, and better than anything you've ever seen. And if you don't have a brand, Pitch can be your brand. It's got a built-in opportunity. Income, and of course get the service for free. So it's exciting. Get started. The screen is interactive, so you can actually get started tonight. Steve will leave it open for the new folks. And what's beautiful is at 4:00 tomorrow afternoon, anybody that gets started today or anybody that just got started that has questions about any part of the platform, whether it's putting together your own meeting, setting up a recurring meeting, getting your own private link, making your own avatar, clone, Steve tomorrow at 4:00 is going to do an onboarding workshop to help you get started, help you get clear, and you can do your due diligence with that. So we have the platform. It's going to stay open here just a few minutes here for all the new folks. If you want to get started, you can instantly do your due diligence. And then tomorrow at 4:00, the same link you used today, you can get on and you can get on the onboarding workshop. So with that, thanks again for all the speakers for coming on tonight. It's your move to join us with this endeavor. We're crusaders. That's what we've become. We've become crusaders of the way people look at doing a webinar forever. And it's exciting. So join us. See you tomorrow at 4:00 in the afternoon, Eastern time. Have a great night, everybody. See you later.